days in that job.
People like to pick on these little Ecoboost engines, but this one has 224,000 hard miles on it. And this is the first time a wrench will ever touch this engine. When I say 224,000 hard miles, I mean this thing has spent its life towing that Galaxy on a trailer up till last year when I got the ramp truck. This thing's only job was to tow that Galaxy around the country. And this little Ecoboost done it with zero effort. Run 70 mile an hour down the interstate, still get 20 miles a gallon. Great. But now it's time for some maintenance. Take a look. So as you heard, there's some noise. It is the water pump. The water pump is down there. That, if you look, that right there is the pulley for it. One of the many reasons that I'm not a fan of working on modern vehicles is just because of all the junk they cram into them. Most of it is really just not necessary. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to get into this thing, and I'm going to show you how to change a water pump on your F-150 with an Ecoboost. And I'm going to assume any vehicle, any of the Ford products with an Ecoboost would be similar. Yeah. Well, wait till you get a load of what this water pump looks like. Now, most of the people that watch my channel would expect to see a water pump that looked kind of like this. You know, your typical Ford water pump. Now, the FE water pumps are a little different. They're shaped more like a Chevrolet pump where they come off of the stands. But still, this is kind of what you would expect to see for a water pump. This is not what is in there. Wait till you see this thing. Okay, let me give you a peek at this water pump to show you what we're dealing with. What I read online, I'm supposed to have another seal, but the guy at the parts store said I didn't have to have that seal. I don't know. But check this thing out. I ain't even going to unwrap it all the way right now. Tell me that don't look like some kind of alien life form. So you got the water pump over here and a hose, but then there's a piece made onto it. Looks like a upside down penis here. And well, here, let me fix it for you. There. And this is where your thermostat housing goes. And then there's this piece that goes onto a tube that goes through the middle of the engine. Now, since I have not touched an Ecoboost engine before, the basics of all mechanics is the same. But I want to take a minute to try to examine what I need to do and what I don't need to do. Because if you look at this job online, they pretty much tell you to take everything on this thing off. All the charge tubing, the air box, all the hoses, belts, all your coolant stuff. I mean, they're pretty much telling you to strip this motor down to do it. Well, I'm smart enough to know I've done enough of these that they're telling you what's recommended to make the job the easiest. I understand that. Or easiest in their mind. I understand that. But we should be able to get by with taking this. Let's see. This is the cold side that goes into the throttle body. We should be able to take that one off because that one is directly in front of it. And we should be able to take just this Y pipe right here off. It hooks right here and here and here. Take this Y pipe off, move it out of the way, that charge tube right there off and out of the way. And we should be able to get in here and see what we're really working with then and how much really has to come apart. We are going to have to drain the coolant. We got no way around that, but I want to see if we can do this taking the least amount off as possible. After all, the more crap you take off, the more crap you got to put back on, right? This thing has so many hoses and sensors. I'm trying to make sure there ain't none attached. Oh, yep, we do have something attached right there. Let me go ahead and loosen up these clamps. And then I've got a wire back here. So let me get to that. Also, if you read your directions, the first thing it tells you to do is drain all the coolant. But I'm going to wait till absolutely necessary to drain the coolant, because if some spills, I don't want to be laying on the ground rolling around in coolant. You understand what I'm saying? So it makes more sense to me to wait till the last minute that I have to drain the coolant. This thing has a sensor. It plugs in right here, but it's got like a collar that goes around the thing. So I can't exactly see how to unplug that sensor. This sensor right here has got to come out, but the sensor slides up inside this tube, so you can't get your finger in here to get the little tabs. Okay. I just got it off. There's a place right here you squeeze and it comes off. This little thing right here has a notch right back here, so you can slide your finger in there just to squeeze that. I just missed that. There's one on each side right there. Okay, so we got that unplugged. Check this out. Look down in the charge tube. Can I get it to show up? Is there enough light? Looks like a fan. It's stationary. Looks like a little fan in there. Very interesting. Some of you guys may be old enough to remember this. They used to sell a thing, I think it was called the Hurricane or something like that. A tornado. Maybe it was called the Tornado. It was called something like that. And you would put it in, this was in maybe the 90s, when fuel injection stuff was pretty much the norm then and was standard equipment. They sold this little thing. It looked like a fan like that, and it slid inside the tube between your air box and your throttle body, and it was supposed to, when the air hit it, it would spin and like force air into your intake. And they claimed crazy gas mileage numbers and all kind of stuff that it would get. I never owned one. I just remember seeing the TV commercials. My thought is, if it worked, we'd still be seeing them. You know what I mean? Okay, so we got the Y pipe out. Now we can see if we remove this. We may not even have to remove this. Yeah. It's going to be a pain to take the bolts out on that side over there if we don't, I think. But I bet you we're going to try without removing this down pipe right here, because we can pretty much get to everything. Those bolts over there may get hairy, and I may have to rethink this. But that radiator hose right there is coming off, so that'll allow my access over there. This, I don't even know how this comes off. This looks like it goes straight into the turbo over here. I'm sure there's a boot down there, but I don't see it, so I'm not going to worry with that pipe right there for a minute. I think, considering right there is the water pump, this is a radiator hose. I think once we take the radiator hoses off, I think maybe we can finagle our way in there without having to take anything else off. The videos you see, or any information I see online, wants you to remove the charge tube. It wants you to remove that tube, take all the hoses off, belts off, and then, of course, you got to pull all these lines here off and all these sensors here and take all this stuff off. And I think we can get by without having to do all that. I may be wrong. May be very wrong, but we're going to try it. Pretty bad when a man that's 6'2's got to get a something to stand on for a two-wheel drive truck that's not lifted. Okay. Break these loose. Got two of them. There we go. There's the third one. Those broke loose. And now we get over here on the belt tensioner. Okay, now that we have tension off of that, I can take the rest of the bolts out that holds the pulley on, take the pulley off. We got to save it because we'll need it for that water pump. And then I should be able to access the bolts, and we'll use the new water pump to look at the kind of road map where the bolts should be, because you really can't see in here. The more I fool with this, the more I'm beginning to see a lot of the remove everything mindset guys. They're doing it. They're doing it to have access to the parts. Not access, I'm sorry. They're doing it so they can see the parts that they're working on. Whew, look at the inside of that. Can you see all that crud? That's aluminum. That's bits and pieces. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. I've never seen one do that. See if I can get a camera and a hand in here. Hang on. Can we get light so you can see? Right there. Yeah, that's the end of the water pump. Look how much it's moving. Yeah, she was bad. And Gaverm, that's part of the aluminum housing, because the neck was flopping around so much it actually started eating the water pump. Hey, I'll give credit where credit is due. This thing is this bad, and it has not leaked a drop of water. It has not ran hot. It has not done anything that you would kind of expect with a bad water pump at all. Wow. Look at all that. Honestly, if this thing just hadn't went to making noise, I would have never even raised the hood to look under here. And never knew it was doing that. The noise was the only thing. We'll get some brake cleaner in there and clean that up a little more. The noise was the only thing that was a tip off. And then I raised the hood and looked in there in the direction of noise and seen the pulley kind of doing one of these. I'll be honest, if you wanted to make life a little easier, this charge tube up here that goes to the throttle body should come off. I think it would make your life a lot easier. It should be 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So the 9th and final bolt in my extension. Okay. All right, we have all 8 bolts out. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we should be able to finagle this thing out of here now. I have a pretty good idea what's holding it, and I think it just came off of it. There we go. Look at this. Can you hear it? I mean, you can see me moving the impeller there. All right. Well, that's out of the way. Whew. We got to hang on to the thermostat housing and the thermostat. And in an effort for YouTube, you see what I do for you people? Look at this freaking penis growing off my forehead like a unicorn. All in effort so you can see what's actually going on. Okay, so now you can see what we're into. I went ahead and removed the charge tube here. I keep calling it a charge tube. If it's not called a charge tube, you can correct me, but I went ahead and removed that. It is one line here and a sensor that's plugged up. It's laying right. I lay over here so I won't lose it. So it's just 2 little plugs. And now you can get a good view. If I can get the light in there, now you can get a good view. There it is of what we're working with. That is the water pump itself, and then right up in there, if you look right over in here, there's a tube that sticks out right there. That tube goes into the back of this water pump also. I've removed the old gasket. It sits like this. Yes, I'm aware of what it looks like. I removed the old gasket, or I don't know what you would refer to it. A seal, I guess, because this is not an O-ring. It's flat, and it's not really a gasket, so I guess more of a seal. I removed the old seal. You seen down in there, the block is cut with a groove. This slides up in. So I have a new one. And then that tube you've seen sticking out of the block slides up in here. So, not the greatest design, I don't think, but it's what we're working with. And it is a little bit aggravating to take all of this stuff off down in there to get to it. But I didn't remove as much as what some people say online that you've got to remove. I removed this Y pipe, and I removed the pipe that goes up into the throttle body. Where's the throttle body? There's the throttle body. I removed the pipe that goes up in the throttle body and this Y pipe, and unhooked the associated lines with that. And that's all I removed to get in there. You see people online that are removing everything to get in here, and I just don't see that is that necessary. Used to go by the old method, the old KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. So we're just going to keep it simple and do the things that we have to do. If it causes it to take a minute or 2 longer, it does, but the less stuff we take apart, the less stuff we have to remember how it goes back together. You understand what I'm saying? All right, goes right back in there the same way it come out. I didn't film much of the install because, well, it's just the opposite of the uninstall. Now, I still haven't put the thermostat or the thermostat housing back on it yet. That's one of the things is different between the part store parts and the Ford parts you get directly from Ford. So if you order that water pump from Ford, it comes with this already on it, a new thermostat in it. All that comes together. But this water pump at the local part store was like $300, and it's nearly $100 more to get one from Ford. I have no problem putting the thermostat back on it myself. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I was gonna do something. I can't bring myself to really do it. I was just gonna put the thermostat that was in it back in it because it's never given me any issues. And honestly, it's probably better than anything you can buy now. This is the factory thermostat to come in the truck. But I mean, I've already got it apart. You know what I'm saying? So why not go ahead and put a new thermostat in it too? Because the last thing I want to do is put this thing together and then have a thermostat issue. Oh, I didn't want to go back to the parts store. I'm going to get a new thermostat. Okay, so the real in all this is I figured out the reason everybody takes all of this off. It's got nothing to do with the water pump. It's got to do with the belt. Because a human hand can't fit in there. Some would say impossible for a human hand to fit right down in there to get the belt on. I won't say it's impossible. You just got to be willing to ram your arm into places that it's not supposed to go and pay the price for that. But the upside is the belt's on, the water pump's on, thermostat's in. So now all I got to do is start hooking all the hoses, sensors, and lines, and all that stuff back up. remember correctly, this goes in here like this. Somehow or another. Come on. And then this goes on there. Plug, yeah, right there. Goes like that. Put this on. Yeah, just like that. There, there. Well, there you go. The water pump from hell. It's not actually that bad. Just time consuming because there's a lot of crap in the way. All that's left, fill it with coolant. If you're this far into an engine, you don't need any advice on how to pour coolant into a hole. So, gotta fill it up with coolant, fire it up, check for leaks, and call this job done. As you've seen, there's a lot of stuff in the way, and most of it can stay. You just got to be willing to ramrod your arm down in there to it. The belt is the hardest part to do with all of this still on it. Other than that, honestly, it really only takes a couple of tools. 8 and a 10 millimeter socket will take apart everything in there, with the exception if you wanted to use a socket like you see me doing for the clamps. But as far as just doing that in there, an 8 and a 10 millimeter, a flat blade screwdriver, and a pair of pliers, you can do this entire job with those 4 right there. That's all you need. So is it exceedingly hard? No, it's really not. It's just one of those things where there's just so much stuff you got to take apart, and you got to kind of pay attention to where it came out at so you can put it back together in the right place. That kind of stuff. Pretty sure we did all that. We'll know when we fire it up, but I'm going to grab some coolant, put in it, and yeah, and we'll fire it up and see what happens now. Quiet, no leaks, other than where your boy spilled some, no leaks. So, yeah, I think we got her where we want it now. Just gotta wait and let the truck warm up enough for the thermostat to open up, which is nowhere near that. But yeah, that's a wrap on that one. Put it outside, try to give it a chance to burp. Once it's done with that, she'll be ready to go. It's slowly getting some temperature in it, but still not a lot of temperature. So, but I've got the heat wide open and I can feel it's getting hot inside the truck. So we should be okay. We should be okay. Isn't that car sexy? Guys, thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, doing all the things you do to help this channel grow. I could not do what I do without y'all. So thank you so much. And one of those efforts, sometimes you got to work on the old daily, you know. This is what my wife drives every day, so got to work on it and keep the wife happy. We'll see y'all on the next one. God bless y'all. Hope the Lord bless you more today than he did yesterday. To him be the glory. And as I said, we'll see you on the next one.
I'd say it's a nut job.